Jack sat alone in his small, rented room. The dim yellow light cast long shadows on the worn-out walls. The silence was so heavy he could actually hear his own breathing. On the table lay an old phone, its screen cracked at the corner. No new messages. No missed calls. Just a bank notification telling him his balance was almost zero. Jack had lost his job. It wasn't because he was lazy or because he wasn't capable. The company downsized, and his name was just one on a long list. But what hurt the most wasn't the unemployment. It was the feeling that he no longer mattered. He once had dreams. He once believed that if he worked hard enough, things would eventually work out. But now, as everything collapsed at once, that belief shattered into a million pieces. The days that followed moved painfully, slowly. Jack would wake up with nowhere to go. There was no office waiting for him, no meetings to attend, no deadlines to meet. The mornings felt endless, and the nights came far too quickly. Some days, he would just lie there, staring at the ceiling for hours, his mind racing with questions. Where did I go wrong? Why did everything fall apart like this? If I keep trying, will it even make a difference? There were nights when Jack thought about giving up, not because he was weak, but because he was just so tired. Exhausted from hoping. Exhausted from trying. Exhausted from having nothing left to hold on to. One morning, Jack stood in front of the mirror. He saw a man he barely recognized, sunken eyes, an unshaven face, and a profound emptiness in his stare. And for the first time in what felt like forever, he whispered to himself, "If I don't save myself, no one else will." He knew he couldn't fix everything at once. He couldn't just rebuild his entire life in a single day. He couldn't erase failure with a bit of positive thinking, but a simple, powerful truth became clear. He didn't have to restart his whole life. He just needed to restart today. So, Jack didn't set any big, lofty goals. He didn't dream of massive success. He didn't think too far ahead. He made one simple promise to himself. Every day, I will do one useful thing, no matter how small. On the first day, he cleaned his room. He folded his clothes, wiped down the dusty table, and opened the window to let the sunlight flood in. The room felt a little lighter. On the second day, he woke up 15 minutes earlier. He made a cup of coffee and just sat quietly, with no phone, no distractions. He just focused on the warmth of the mug in his hands. On the third day, he updated his resume. It wasn't perfect, but it was honest. It was a start. On the fourth day, he sent out a single job application. He knew the chances were slim, but he did it anyway. He had taken a step. Not every day felt hopeful. Some days were filled with rejection emails. Other days were filled with silence. No response at all. In those moments, Jack wondered if these small efforts even mattered. Was he actually moving forward, or was he just fooling himself? Then he realized something incredibly important. If he quit today, tomorrow would look exactly the same as yesterday. So he kept going, not because he was filled with optimism, but because he didn't want to hate himself any more than he already did. Weeks turned into a month. Jack still didn't have a stable job. Life hadn't magically gotten better. But Jack was different. He was waking up earlier. His room was no longer a mess. He wasn't afraid to begin again. Most importantly, he no longer saw himself as a failure. He understood that he wasn't falling apart. He was recovering. One day, his phone rang. It wasn't a call from a big, fancy company. It wasn't a dream salary. It was just a temporary job. Small, modest pay. But it was something. Jack paused for a moment. Then he said yes. Not because he was lowering his worth, but because he now knew that no job is beneath your dignity. Only giving up on yourself is. One evening after work, Jack sat alone and thought about those dark days when he hit rock bottom in Esma. Not because everything was perfect now, but because he had survived the hardest part. Jack finally understood that zero is not the end. It is the starting point. And from zero, you can move forward, one step at a time. Remember, no one starts over with empty hands. You may lose money. You may lose your job. You may even lose other people's trust. But if you still have your will, you have never lost everything. Your willpower is the one thing no one can take from you unless you give it up yourself. Jack didn't restart his life with a burst of confidence. He restarted with one small, quiet decision not to quit again. And if you're listening to this story right now, maybe you're on your own difficult journey too. You don't have to be strong today. You just have to keep going. As long as you still have your will, that is more than enough to begin. If this story resonated with you, give this video a like and subscribe for more content to help you on your journey. Thanks for watching.